There's a lady that was convinced by someone pretending to be Brad Pitt. He's using AI technology online to divorce her husband and scammed her out of over $800,000.
Oh, man.
Lots of questions here. Is the scammer going to jail? And what is the responsibility of the person, quote unquote, being scammed? At what point are like, you're just dumb and that this is an idiot tax for you?
Well, this scammer succeeded in two ways. Convinced her to divorce her husband, give the settlement over, and then the $800,000. I mean, to me, I just, this poor person, I feel sad.
Understand that I know you feel sad, but
person
must have some response. Even if it wasn't a scam, it was Brad Pitt. She should know that Brad Pitt doesn't need $800,000.
Well, what if she doesn't?
It's a good question. Well, we have our official attorney, Lisa Lanier. Good morning, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey, good morning.
So, first question. What is the responsibility of the person, like this woman, to use her common sense and to realize, look, Brad Pitt's super famous. He doesn't need money. This is just really dumb on my part.
Well, most people, even when the scammer doesn't pose as a celebrity, most people kind of face this accusation, like, why did you give this person all this money,
Mm-hmm.
And these scammers are really good. They're really slick and good. And, I mean, imagine how persuasive this person must be to convince this lady that he's Brad Pitt. And, these folks just, they prey upon people who usually are, emotionally needy and vulnerable and sometimes lonely. A lot of times it's like older women that get preyed on, and particularly ones that are a lot of times single or widowed or, but this, if you're scammed, you're scammed. You know what I mean? Like, if you fell for it, I don't think they really, $800,000 and divorcing your husband, I don't think law enforcement looks at it like, the victim should have been smarter about it. You know what I mean? I think they just strictly look at the fraud and the theft. And this guy's facing a lot of very serious charges because you trigger federal charges usually in these because they're using email and telephone, and it usually involves then some really serious federal wire charges, mail fraud, and a lot of times money laundering comes into play, and often identity theft charges. So they're usually facing like an average of about 10 years per count for that kind of thing.
Well, and this scammer, Lisa, by the way, ran the gamut of all sorts of things because it started as the scammer pretending to be Brad Pitt's mom, okay, and was talking about how Brad needed money because he didn't have any money left from his divorce from Angelina Jolie. Then eventually the scammer got the AI photos of Brad Pitt, so then started to be Brad Pitt himself, and was saying that he was like, well, if you send me money, I'll send you luxury handbags. There was even talk about like a marriage proposal in there at one point. And then eventually the fake Brad Pitt got sick. That's where the picture in the
cancer,
hospital.
Right? Yeah.
Kidney cancer. The scammer was pretending that Brad Pitt had kidney cancer and then needed money for the treatment and that he didn't have the money because of the divorce. And so it just kept going and going and going. And then eventually the woman realized that it was a scam after she had given over all the money and divorced her husband, that she realized it was a scam because she saw Brad Pitt with his real life girlfriend. I think it's Inez de Ramon, on photos and stuff on the internet. And she was like, well, wait a second. I thought we were together.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's, I do know someone personally that works in healthcare, and one of their patients, elderly, thought she was, some guy said he was Elon Musk.
See?
No picture. I mean, not even any pictures, just like started sending stuff, and then she gave him money, fell for it, realized she got scammed. The guy came back later, and she started doing it again.
No.
And there's obviously some issues there, but it's like, she's like, I'm going to marry Elon Musk. And it's like...
But is that like a fantasy at that time? I mean, because, it seems like it's very common sense Elon Musk doesn't need money.
She's saying they don't focus on it. I mean, it's just bizarre to me.
And they actually set it up. These scammers, they have kind of the same MO. My mom had several of these guys reaching out to her years ago before she passed away. and her friends, same thing. And they would sit around and like laugh about it, because they would actually talk to some of these guys a little bit, but knowing that they were scammers, just, kind of entertainment, right? For,
Right.
little old ladies. And these guys would always be like, I'm this, my name is, I'm a doctor, and my name is like Dirk, or they have all these like soap opera names, like Stone. And
Stone Johnson.
Yeah, no, they sound like they're straight out of like Young and the Restless, and they always have like this whole convoluted story, like, well, I was in Jamaica doing some volunteer work with little children, like operating on cleft palates, and I was robbed, and so I need you to wire me $3,000 so I can get back, and I'll pay it back as soon as I get back. A wealthy physician, like they have these convoluted stories about why they need money, but where they spin themselves as this desirable, wealthy, professional.
Well, what are the odds they catch the people? I mean, they do have this lady who's did the 800,000 took over a period of time. They do have account numbers. It seems like things are trackable. I know there's ways that a lot of these fraud people somehow can get the money, and then all of a sudden you can't even find them anymore. But what's the odds of them actually catching this person that scammed her out of $800,000, thinking that they were proposing as Brad Pitt,
and that the account it was a Turkish account. So now we're dealing with things that are not even in the
Yeah, it's almost always international scammers, and it's very difficult to find them because they're using offshore accounts and encrypted emails, and they're using VPNs that you can't tell where they really are. It makes them look like they're in a different country than they really are in, and so it's rare. There was a big case a year or two ago where a guy, he was a U.S. Citizen. He from domestic. He was like, I forget what state he was in, but he was caught, and he had scammed over 30 women like this, pretending the same kind of thing. And he went to prison for a really long time. The FBI tracked him down. So if they're domestic, it's much easier to trace them. But if they're international, which most of them are, you can pretty much forget it.
Yeah, because the resources and the communication and even knowing who they are, I can imagine it's not even worth it. Although it sucks for the people that lost a bunch of money. All right, so if it's the U.S. and they caught him, more likely to go to jail for a long time. Outside the U.S., which it appears, she learned. Now, let me ask you this. Could the ex-husband of the scammer sue the scammer for alienation of affection because he caused their divorce?
Well, if he can show the elements, because, a lot of people don't realize alienation of affection does not always just apply to someone who had an actual affair, with your spouse. It can be, some people make, alienation of affection claims against, like, a mother-in-law, or someone like that.
Wait, you can do that? You can do that?
Yeah.
Do you handle these cases, Lisa? Can I call you? Can I call you later?
I think yours are settled, Jared.
No.
Jared has a pen and paper.
Jared's are settled. I
Wait,
thought.
Yeah.
What's the statute on this?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
and Lisa,
Now her brain
is the alienation of infection?
Infection. That's different, Jason.
Alienation.
That's a different lawsuit.
Yeah.
Lisa doesn't handle those as mine.
That's the Usher case when they gave people herpes.
That's only in certain states. That's not the whole country, correct?
Correct, yeah. Only certain states recognize alienation of affection. North Carolina does.
And does it? Do you see a lot of cases that actually come into the positive for the plaintiff?
Some of the biggest verdicts in North Carolina have been alienation of affection cases. And if it's true, the hard part
getting better.
is... Yeah, the hard part about alienation of affection is that you have to show that the marriage was good and that it was intact, and that the only reason that they separated was this, homewrecker person. And then, of course, you want the homewrecker to be wealthy, because if it does you no good to get a big judgment against somebody that doesn't have anything.
Yeah.
Check.
Yeah.
Check box. Check box. Okay. All right. Checking a lot of boxes,
Checking a lot of
Lisa.
boxes. Not saying who. Checking a lot of boxes. Checking a lot of boxes. Gonna email my attorney as soon as we got off the phone.
Wealthy.
Because I know you don't do family law. But
Homewrecker.
Got it.
allegedly.
Hey.
Just got to do some due diligence. All right. So we got a lot to think about, or at least one of us does. Lisa, you're great. Official attorney of Jared and Katie in the morning. She's the best. I love her when she's cracking up.
I know she died laughing herself. She's like, we do here. I was like,
And then she's like, wait a second. This could be some really good content.
Well, I can't believe you can actually sue somebody else that wasn't like, for instance, usually I think of alienation of infection is the cheater.
Affection.
I was thinking infection.
Cheating is the infection.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's like
I've always thought that too.
it's the other person that caused the person to leave, to be with them.
Yeah.
But they're saying that it could be anybody.
So somebody's
but
meddling.
she's also saying you really have to be able to prove.
Prove it, yeah.
Well, they're
Yes.
even saying even with cheating that you'd have to show your marriage was fine, at least to you was
Right.
fine, and then they just blindsided you.
Yeah.
And I think
That's
that
a hard one.
the
That's
other
a hard-
side's going to make it really difficult for you to prove that.
Well,
I mean,
it
at this
depends on-
point, dude,
And you're talking about
Yeah.
in general?
Yes, in general.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think,
Okay, yeah.
Well, you
you're
also-
giving these lawyers enough money. Why stop now?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? What's
worth
another
it.
3 years?
Why
It's worth
stop
exploring.
Yeah.
It's
But
worth
I
exploring.
would assume that to prove this stuff, which you can prove, also costs a lot of money
Yes.
because that's when you have to start subpoenaing
text messages.
text
and-
messages, phone records, private investigators. I mean, that stuff costs a boatload of money.
Without saying too much, Lisa was involved with, had a conversation with one of the mother-in-laws. I'll just say that on the phone.
I think this is saying too much.
No, that's all I'm
You're
saying.
sure? Okay.
She had a,
It is, but keep going.
No,
And
she
then
had,
Lisa decided to recommend this to you based on maybe that
Interesting.
conversation.
she had a conversation with this person. I'm not saying who. And
It could
and
be
it made
anyone.
me, it made me
It could
love
be.
Lisa more than ever. I'm like, whew, I wish she was a family law attorney. She
Yeah.
would. She don't play.
Well,
she don't play.
She doesn't necessarily take the family law cases, but she was more than happy to review and recommend and give advice right away when I talked to her the other day.
Yeah, she's super
which is
smart.
crazy to me.
Yeah.
Lisa is all you guys need.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just think that
It's
she
true.
likes to be a part of it.
Now, she sat through with me and Heather. She sat and she's like, I said, "Do you want a second set of ears?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Sure." And she was on. And I asked my attorney, and they know each other the first time, and they was like, "Sure." And she was on speakerphone the entire time during our consultation.
And y'all can still look her in the eyes.
Who?
I had
both of
nothing.
you.
No,
No,
I mean,
know.
and
It's just
Lisa?
I feel like I'm very vulnerable. I don't
It's
know.
it's vulnerable,
it's like
but it
too
was
close to home.
Me
But
and
it-
Lisa
yeah.
connected at the Christmas party. By
Yeah.
the way, we had a very
Yes.
long conversation,
Yes.
and
Yes,
I
you
was.
did.
She is. I'm more of a fan of her than ever. She's very.
She's a good
solid
friend.
person.
Until she tells you the side of the law that she's going to stick to that you don't like.
No, she's told me
Oh,
some of the
either.
stuff that
Yeah.
I'm like, that didn't work for me, and she was like, "Yeah, this is what it is." Okay, good. I'd rather know than not.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's real about it too, and she's not talking lawyer terms either.
No.
I mean,
Real
she does,
life stuff.
but she'll really say. I'm like, huh, wow.
She's awesome. She really is. So if you're ever injured on the job, she does way more than that. Contact her right away at hireaheavyweight.com.